Welcome to Virtual News Hub. As the devastating conflict in Ukraine rages on, a glimmer of hope has emerged on the horizon. High-stakes peace talks are scheduled to take place in Saudi Arabia, aiming to bring an end to the bloodshed and suffering that has gripped the region for far too long. The world watches with bated breath as top officials from the United States and Russia prepare to engage in delicate negotiations, seeking a path towards a peaceful resolution. The eyes of the world are upon them, hoping for a breakthrough that could ease the immense human cost of this protracted war. The stakes could not be higher, with the potential for these talks to either pave the way for a more stable future or to further escalate tensions on the global stage. The international community holds its breath, praying for a positive outcome that will bring relief to the millions affected by the ongoing conflict. The weight of history rests on the shoulders of the negotiators, as they strive to find common ground and bridge the deep divides that have fueled this devastating war. The choice of Saudi Arabia as the host for these crucial discussions is no accident. As a key player in the Middle East with close ties to both the US and Russia, Saudi Arabia is uniquely positioned to act as a neutral intermediary. Its role as a mediator will be crucial in fostering dialogue and trust between the opposing parties. The diplomatic skills and regional influence of the Saudi leadership will be put to the test as they navigate the complexities of these high-stakes negotiations. The world waits with bated breath, hoping that these talks will mark a turning point in the conflict and pave the way for a more peaceful future for Ukraine and the wider region. The outcome of these discussions could have far-reaching implications for international relations and global security. Success in Saudi Arabia could usher in a new era of cooperation and understanding. However, failure could further escalate tensions, with potentially disastrous consequences for all involved. Representing the United States in these pivotal negotiations is a team of seasoned diplomats and foreign policy experts. Leading the delegation is National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, a highly respected figure known for his strategic thinking and deep understanding of international relations. Waltz's experience in navigating complex geopolitical situations will be invaluable as he seeks to advance American interests and find common ground with the Russian delegation. Joining Waltz is Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a prominent voice on the world stage with a reputation for his unwavering commitment to diplomacy and his ability to build relationships across borders. Rubio's diplomatic skills will be put to the test as he seeks to bridge the divide between the US and Russia, two countries with vastly different perspectives on the conflict in Ukraine. Completing the American team is Steve Witkoff, the US envoy to the Middle East. With his extensive knowledge of the region and his strong relationships with key players in the Middle East, Witkoff brings a unique perspective to the negotiating table. His expertise will be essential in navigating the complexities of the region and ensuring that the talks take into account the interests of all stakeholders. These three individuals, each with their own unique strengths and expertise, will need to work together seamlessly to navigate the complexities of these negotiations. Their success or failure will depend on their ability to build trust, find common ground, and ultimately secure a peaceful resolution that serves the interests of all parties involved. The weight of history rests on their shoulders as they strive to bring an end to the violence and suffering in Ukraine. Across the negotiating table, the Russian delegation will be equally determined to achieve its objectives. While the exact composition of the Russian team remains unconfirmed, it is widely anticipated that the Kremlin will send a high-level delegation, potentially including top political, intelligence, and economic figures. The Kremlin understands the gravity of the situation and the need to project an image of strength and resolve on the world stage. Among those rumored to be under consideration for the Russian delegation is Kirill Dmitriev, a close confidant of President Putin and a key figure in Russian economic policy. Dmitriev's presence would signal the Kremlin's seriousness about addressing the economic ramifications of the conflict and its willingness to explore potential solutions. His expertise in international finance and his understanding of the global economic landscape would be invaluable in any negotiations related to sanctions relief or economic cooperation. The Russian delegation will be under immense pressure to deliver results that satisfy the Kremlin's objectives, while also taking into account the concerns of the international community. The talks represent a high-stakes gamble for President Putin, who is eager to find a way out of the costly conflict while also safeguarding Russia's interest and prestige on the world stage. The outcome of these negotiations will have far-reaching consequences for Russia's future, both domestically and internationally. A successful outcome could bolster Putin's standing at home and pave the way for a rapprochement with the West. However, failure to secure a favorable deal could further isolate Russia, damage its economy, and prolong the conflict in Ukraine. As the world awaits the start of these crucial talks, it is essential to acknowledge the significant challenges and uncertainties that lie ahead. Deep mistrust between the US and Russia, coupled with their divergent views on the conflict in Ukraine, will make finding common ground extremely difficult. Years of animosity and suspicion will not be easily overcome, and both sides will need to be prepared to make concessions in order to achieve a lasting peace. The absence of European nations from the negotiating table adds another layer of complexity to the talks. While the US has cited the failed Minsk II agreement as justification for excluding Europe, the decision has raised concerns about transparency and the potential for a deal that does not adequately address European security concerns. European leaders will be watching these negotiations closely, and their support will be crucial for any agreement reached to be implemented successfully. Despite these challenges, the fact that these talks are taking place at all is a testament to the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. The human cost of the conflict continues to mount, with countless lives lost and millions displaced from their homes. The international community cannot afford to let this opportunity for peace slip away. The road ahead will be long and arduous, but the pursuit of peace is always worth the effort. The world watches and hopes that these talks will mark the beginning of the end of the conflict in Ukraine and pave the way for a more stable and secure future for the region. The stakes are high, but so too is the potential reward. A world where dialogue and diplomacy triumph over violence and destruction. Thank you for watching Virtual News Hub. Subscribe for more news updates.